Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today I have for you a beginner build for the Ghoul. Yeah, I did not forget about the beginners. It took me a little bit to go back and retest everything, how the game performs and work as you start over and decide to go as a Ghoul very early. One thing I did notice, if you turn Ghoul as soon as possible and you didn't grab free mutations from radiation method to get all mutations for free, you can no longer get mutations for free. So this build is mutation free Ghoul for now. Of course, you should have mutations. Check my endgame builds to see what is the best for whatever playstyle you want to do. This guy has no mutations at this moment. Works great. Still a little bit inconvenient, cannot jump crazy high. And no, this camp behind me is not mine. I will include some tips and tricks for new players. So one of those is, if you see the blue ribbon camp on your map, you can treat it like your own for an hour, as they rotate every hour. It doesn't belong to anyone. Everything inside, treat it as yours. If you can find something, like there is ammo or there is something else that you may use, take it. It's yours. Whatever you can find in the camp. Someone already did empty those, but if you find something, it's yours. Like, all those camps are for display, but stuff inside, even if that would be locked, feel free to pick the lock. You will not be wanted. This is okay. If there is a blue ribbon, you can pick the locks. Now, details about the build. I do have two different loadouts, as one is optimized fully for the combat performance and playing the game, gathering resources, doing missions, and so on. But when you need experience, I have a separate loadout, so I will discuss both of those in here. This Ghoul build is level 76, which I consider low. That's achievable definitely in your first week of playing Fallout 76, even if you are casual. Special distribution, as you can see, the special distribution stays like that because there is no legendary perks really used to improve anything. So that's a beginner build. You don't have any bonus specials, so you are working with the base amount. That's the experience farming build. It's separate because you need 15 intelligence to be efficient at farming experience. And there's really nothing really good as a beginner to put under intelligence, so those two do not come hand in hand. If you wonder about legendary perks, I do have two rank 1 for convenience. I do recommend those early. If you go Ghoul Action Diet, so don't worry about chems at all. Master Infiltrator, so you can pick any locks at those camps that you will visit with Blue Ribbon and help yourself with the stuff that's free. And it is truly free. You are not stealing it from anyone. It's free for everyone. Whoever is first will get stuff. Later on, of course, there's a lot of legendary perks, but this is topic of the endgame builds. We are talking beginner builds. So, strength. I have quite significant amount of strength, mainly to help with carry weight. You want Traveling Pharmacy, Bandolier, Arms Keeper. Like, those three help a lot with carry weight. So you go on an adventure, you don't need to go back to camp, store stuff as often if you can carry way more. Blocker and Barbarian are for tankiness, so you do not die easily at all. You are super tanky at this build. I will show you this build in action as well when I will be talking about more tips and tricks. So absolutely beast. You will be a beast. I will show you my gear too. I don't really have legendary gear. Now, perception, the staple, concentrated fire, awareness, and tank killer. Awareness helping only a little bit, as our perception is not particularly high, but it is helping. And that's important, especially for people that cannot manually aim. You can manually aim with this build, and it works great. It's designed to manually aim, if possible, as in case of a beginner, you will not always have a lot of action points. Sometimes you will have none if you exhaust them and you do not have, let's say, company from friendly camps. After that, endurance. We have Life Giver for tankiness, Adamantium Skeleton, so we get crippled less often. Through Haika to carry mainly toxic good, toxic water, as that's what ghouls run on, so you always want a hefty supply More important than Stimpaks, so through Haika, very important for that reason. Ironclad to improve our armor a little bit. Under Charisma, just 1 point, inspirational, even if you run solo. Like, you want to play solo, this is fine. Be solo on a team. Lone Wanderer was nerfed, so it's not worth running. I was testing that. It does require you to not be on a team. It doesn't work if you are solo on a team, and provides very little benefit. Inspirational works if you are solo on a team, which means you create a public team and you are the only person on it that's solo on a team. Will work, help you a little bit with experience. Better than nothing, and we are not focusing on charisma. Scrapper, when you gather stuff, you will get a little bit more scrap. There is really nothing that you truly need under intelligence for adventuring and combat. So agility, the most important of all the categories. All of them. That's where the true power lies of your damage. You want agility, focus on that first. As soon as you have any of those perks, unlock them. So Gunslinger Master to get 10 more Onslaught stacks. Onslaught is a real powerhouse, especially for new players. Gunslinger, that's a damage to weak spot. Very handy. This one is not the most important, but very handy. Guerrilla Expert. More stacks of Onslaught, reload speed. Everything that says Onslaught and more stacks, you want on this build. Master. Range damage to close enemies. This is huge. Basically, when enemy is 2 to 3 foundation distance away from you, you double your damage with this setup. That's huge. Doubling your damage with whatever weapon, that's huge. Gunslinger Expert. Weak spot damage, again, based on your Onslaught stacks. Without Furious effect on the weapon, as I don't have yet. I don't have a good legendary weapon. That's 21%. That's huge. Gunfu for target sweeping and adrenaline to get some extra damage as you go and kill stuff. So those are very handy. So agility, the most important. All those perks need to be here. There is no really room for any quality of life. Unfortunately, there is not enough points possible under agility, as 15 is max. Then we go into luck. Bloody Mess for damage. Junk Shield, that's a powerhouse early game. You just carry 100 pieces of any junk in your inventory and you have huge boost to your tankiness, to your resistances. Cap Collector. Caps early on are super important. You will spend them to buy legendary mod boxes from players that are selling them, especially cheap ones. Even if you don't need particular mod, you will buy a cheap one, you will scrap it, and thanks to that, you will stockpile on legendary modules to craft your own legendary weapons. 40 spots. This one unlocks the latest, just so you know. This one unlocks at level 75, as we are talking here about unlocks. In Fallout 76, you cannot save level ups. If you have any level up saved, let's see on the bottom, it says pick a perk and there is number next to it, so it means you can pick a perk. If you don't use it and you, let's say, level up to level 100, you will not unlock any new perks. You need to use every single level up. The saving, for whatever reason, is not allowed. If you save level ups, you will not unlock new perks, and some Ghoul perks unlock until level 100. Critical Savvy, so you can utilize criticals, especially on tough fights. Grim Reaper Sprint. This one is very handy early on, when you still struggle with your action points. Later on, you will not need it. So later on, you will replace that with a class freak. In the moment that you will be able to afford your mutations, you will have mutations, you will switch that to a class freak. You will no longer need this one. But early on, super handy. Ricochet for tankiness and better criticals for a little bit of extra damage when you do have this critical. So this is your special and perks. Powerhouse of a build. Now, there is no mutations, but I can show you under stats. So Adamantium Skeleton helps with limb resistance. Awareness, only a little bit of VATS accuracy, but we want to add whatever is possible. The goal will be to put extra VATS accuracy to my revolver as well. Barbarian, 55 damage resist, which is not huge, but that's 1 point. So it's very much worth it early on. Very much worth it. Then Charisma we don't care because we are ghouls, so it's very low. That's the damage to close enemies, so huge. Inspirational, it's a little bit of extra experience. I know that's not much, but something. Better than nothing. There's nothing good under Charisma otherwise that you could equip. Junk Shield, as I said, huge one. Look at this amount of resistance. 113, 113. Life Giver for extra health. Ricochet 14% deflect chance. That not only deflecting the damage, but doing damage to attackers. So that's double-edged sword. It's help you tank more and do more damage in the same time. Ghoul bonus giving us endurance, strength, health. Very handy at all situations. Oh, and look at that. This camp just generated for me a free company tea and free coffee. So yeah, that's my camp now. I can take it all and it's free. And before we cover the gear category, this is a second loadout. So this is for experience. It's optimized for experience. What do you have under intelligence? Doesn't matter really. You just need 15 intelligence. As you may notice, I just toss in all the cards that I had from per card packs. So I just toss them all because you don't want this category empty. So you can see other stuff. It's similar to the main build. There is a little bit less carry weight as we don't have as much points. You may wonder why only one charisma if that's experience focus. The reason for that, we are unable to add enough charisma to overcome the ghoul penalty, so there is no point. We are a ghoul, we'll have one charisma total, no matter what. Similar situation under luck, we keep junk shield, and that's the most important, and we keep cap collectors. You want to collect caps as you are farming experience too. You want all of that. So this build performs in quite similar manner. A little bit worse combat performance and less carry weight. That's the main difference because it's optimized to get as much experience as possible when you really need those level ups. When you don't, you switch to the combat setup and adventure setup and questline setup. Questline do not give a lot of experience, so you don't do experience from questlines. When you do questlines, this one. When you need experience, what do? When you need experience, you go for expeditions to Atlantic City. Not the pit, is bad for experience. Atlantic City. Two best ones, Boardwalk or Flooded City. Those two are best for experience. And on top of that, there is lots of legendary items, so you want to do those. I like Boardwalk, but there are even people that like Casino Cotter. I prefer Boardwalk. I can do it solo as a beginner in about 10 minutes, and that's 5 legendary items, 1 to 2 legendary modules, and a huge amount of experience. Just a quick trick, if you will be doing expedition, do it on casual team, it must be your team, and at the very end, switch the team to expeditions, that at the very end, when you'll be boarding Vertibird and coming back to Appalachia, then don't forget, switch expedition, so you have, from casual, from bonus intelligence, more experience from all your kills, and on top of that, more of the final experience. So that's how you maximize it as a new player. Now, a gear. So what do we have here? It's handy to carry a 50 cal. That's very good early weapon. The main powerhouse is a Western revolver. That's the main weapon. As you may notice, I don't have anything with good legendary. This one is barely giving me 5%. At some point I will have it. The most important part, I can craft it. And you can see I crafted it with a lot of condition. How you achieve that? You craft with high intelligence. So if you need to craft anything, you use your experience farming loadout. And this way you will craft new weapons with double health bars, which is especially good early on. If they break, don't fix them. Just craft a new one and scrap old one to hopefully unlock some modifications for it. Unless you already have like a perfect legendary, then do not scrap it, fix it. But if it's something like that, scrap it, craft a new one when it breaks. I have handmade, but that was from a loadout that I purchased to test in Atomic Shop, level 50 boost. The Black Powder Pistol and Blunderbuss, very good for single shot, very high damage. I was lucky to drop this one quad from Expedition, so I do keep it. That's a lot of damage. when needed. Single action revolver, very high damage per bullet. So if Western revolver cannot one shot with a headshot, then you switch to single action revolver. In most case scenario, Western revolver should one shot enemies. It should normally one shot regular enemies, humans, super mutants, and so on. Armor, I have what was free in the package, so this is a combat armor. Combat armor is decent for a ghoul, especially early on. It's good. You could even run without armor. That's possible too. Like if I would unequip it. With those perks, with all those perks and the build, if I unequip my armor, my resistance is still quite good. This armor early on is very expensive to fix. So sometimes you may even run without armor. Toxic goo, toxic water, that's free. So I do have toxic water here. If I run out of toxic water, I will use a toxic goo that I gather from Westech. I will show you during a combat showcase where I do gather my toxic goo. That's a little bit more rats than toxic water. Either one works and you can spam it from Pip-Boy if you are on console, only from Pip-Boy. If you are on PC, you can assign a hot button, like for me it's one, to spam higher quantities. I forgot to assign my 50 cal. Did I miss anything? I hope not. So now let's do the combat showcase. Let's go for the Westech. And that's the main combat build. So here we go, some Western revolver action. And don't forget, I did unequip my armor, so I'm going in here without armor. Just to show you that you can do that. And I think that's important early on, that you can do that. So easily one hit. If they farther away, you will see the difference in damage, you see? That's 2 hits. I'm doing like 400. That's why I said it's so important to have those onslaught pairs. When they close, 800 something. So that's the damage. One-shotting them easily with 800 something damage. If I switch to my single action, so single action is slightly higher damage per shot. Again, another easily accessible revolver. The reload will be way slower, so the reload, as you may notice, it just reloads bullet after a bullet. Look as well at my health. Not really losing too much health, and if it drops... And they will not break my armor, because I unequip it. So for farming, if you have a good armor and you don't have repair kits or resources to keep repairing, you can unequip for most of the daily scenarios. I'm tanking it. Now, if I need health back, so I just pop a toxic goo twice or 3 times, I'm back full. No problem. Now, if you really need a DPS, like high damage quickly, you can switch to a 50 cal. That's huge damage. It can be used in VATS too. It does exhaust my onslaught stacks faster, but it's not too bad. So as you can see, that's a high DPS if I need to deal with enemies like boss type like enemies. I can use the 50 cal. Where to get the 50 cal, where to get revolvers and so on, the best new player weapons, I do have a dedicated video for that. I will try to link it in here on the screen so it will be easier for you to find it if you will need it. If you need to go and look for those weapons for yourself, I have entire video for that, the best weapons for new players, and that's how easy it is. This build is made very well, I think. If you notice that I have something wrong with this build, let me know. So that's the carry weight. I'm picking up everything. I have no problem to carry it all. Especially important for early players. Then I just scrap all of that to unlock some stuff. I farm. I go on adventure. I fight more enemies. If I need to be slightly more tanky, I put armor on. And later on, I will get a better armor. For now, this is basically non-legendary. Just weightless, therefore doesn't take any space in my inventory, which is great. Now, if you don't have your toxic goo, we are in the place when I normally gather it. Like, if you need to gather toxic goo, so that's where we entered. You go straight in here, there will be a couple of enemies, I already killed them. And on the floor, look at this green stuff. That's the toxic goo. You go here and gather it. You will get all the toxic goo that you ever need. All free healing. And when your health drops, so you don't have any glow bar as a ghoul, you will need to use Stimpak. Toxic goo is very weak as a healing item when you drop below the glow bar. So this is the build. Let me know what you think about it. Well, the company tea will help greatly if you get it from someone other camp. That's a base AP region. So that's the most important one for 1 hour if you visit some camps that offer that for free. Now, if you will be buying stuff, you can see this word activity, switch it to all, and then you look for camps. And when you are searching what to buy, you look for camps that sell mods, and then you go to see if they sell any legendary mods. That's what you do with your camps. So that's category like this light bulb. You look at mods and you search for legendary mods. What you are looking for most in regards to legendary mods, it's Furious. Okay, vendors look different in every camp. This is a vendor in here. Go under mods, and they do sell a bunch of legendary, no 1 stars. We are looking normally for Furious. If they have 2 stars and 3 stars, you can still buy them just to scrap them after you will have more caps. But for the moment, we do not have a lot of caps, so we are looking for Furious the most. So we're looking if someone will be selling Furious. Then we'll be looking if someone will be selling 2nd star, which is Vad's hit chance. There is nothing like that here. And after we get all of that, we'll be looking for the cheapest possible 3 stars, as they do scrap to 12 legendary modules. So even that price, that's a good price. 5k for 12 legendary modules, that's quite good price as you are a new level. Sometimes you can find cheaper, so it's worth jumping from camp to camp. But people do sell those not very useful 3 stars for caps, and you can get legendary modules from that. The easiest way to get them as a new player is just buying those and scrapping that. And that being said, I think this is what you need to know to start your adventure and complete your beginner build for your Ghoul character. And now, thank you a lot for watching, and see you all in the next one.